Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cinema Savvy. I'm Tate. I'm joined today by George, and it is another film from the London Film Festival this year, and it is going to be 2021's Boiling Point, a interesting chef drama, one-take chef drama, very, very thrilling film. This film was online only for the film festival, which is very interesting because I honestly feel like this should have been given a proper press screening. This film is fantastic. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But first, I'm going to send it over to George with the socials.
Absolutely, guys. So, if you've been fortunate to see this at home, obviously this was online for press. This was also online available to purchase as well. We want to hear your thoughts on Boiling Point, and this is, of course, a very interesting one that, as you rightly said, was dismissed of anything other than online, which didn't make
Mm.
any sense because it had a premiere on the spot in a cinema. So, let us know your thoughts if you've seen Boiling Point down below, and if you are interested in the festival, our coverage, want to see what else is coming out, hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot more videos, a lot more reviews,
Mm.
red carpet stuff on the way. So, subscribe, do like, comment, and of course share it. And if you want to find out what videos are coming next, we normally don't know. There's so many films at the festival. Hit us up on our social medias, which is Twitter at cinema_savvy, facebook.com/cinema savvy, and letterboxd.com/cinema savvy. I can say that the next one will be mass, but we don't know when, don't know where. So hit us up on those socials and we'll give you times as soon as we know ourselves.
Yes, indeed. So we're going to start off with kind of thoughts heading in because I've seen the film. Sadly, George wasn't able to see the film. But I just wanted to kind of know what your thoughts going into it, or kind of thoughts were just from an outside view first before I go into it.
Yeah, so when they published the whole festival schedule, obviously, I took like an evening to essentially go through every single film, the synopsis, the photos, so you can see the cast, that kind of thing. And when I saw it's like a one-take chef film starring Stephen Graham, like I'm in. Not that I've ever worked in hospitality. I've done retail like many others, but I've always had this immaculate respect for those that work in restaurants because I think they bear the brunt of the nastiest customers in the world. And I was really excited to see it. And then the press schedule came out, and it was online 10 minutes after Power of the Dog. Um, the same day as Mass Online, the same day as Phantom of the Open, and the same day as something else that people are hyping. And that Monday was horrid. And I was being gutted because I thought, okay, if I take my laptop into Central, search to Power of the Dog, I can just go into prep, whack the 5G on, and watch this and stream it. And Power of the Dog was, I mean, this isn't Power of the Dog, that was just way too deep to suddenly move on
Mm.
to a film about cooking. So this is when I sadly missed out, and I haven't been able to see it online at home because it's been a mad few days. But no, I'm glad you got the chance to see it because it was one. Obviously, you can tell by that thumbnail. I'd pre-done that last week. It was one that I really thought would
Mm.
get covered, and I'm glad you got the chance to see it.
Yeah, so I didn't really know what this film was going to be about. I knew it was called Boiling Point. I knew it was Stephen Graham, who I think is a fantastic actor. I'm so glad that he's starting to get more roles in Hollywood. Sadly, he will be in Venom 2 next week,
Mm.
which I mean, I'm looking forward to his performance. I'm not looking forward to watching that film in particular. But I'm glad that he's been given more and more opportunities, and he seems to have broken out into that side of kind of filmmaking and stuff like that. We'll see him in a lot more roles as well because he deserves it. He's a fantastic actor. Other than that, really, I didn't know what I was going to expect from it. I completely forgot it was going to be one take until I kind of started watching the film and was like, "Oh, it's one take. Okay, cool." But just to start off with, kind of my immediate first thoughts, the closest film I can link this to is something like Uncut Gems from a few years ago, but just one take. It's that high level of intensity at all times, but just one take. And what's really great is they don't focus on the cooking. It's not a cooking film. They focus on just the act of being in a kitchen, the drama that comes with that, the various different things you need just like to work in that kitchen and stuff like that, like the tension, the kind of arguments with the customers, a critic comes in, what happens then? And you've got so much happening at once. And the camera just kind of follows these various different characters around the kitchen and follows Stephen Graham's character and just kind of spirals into this chaotic kind of mess that would be just a normal night working the job in a high level kitchen, which is just fantastic.
Yeah, and I think as well with that sort of moves into the direction with it too that one takes I mean, not to get bring Bond in, but we always do. You had that staircase sequence, which is one
Mm.
of the best sequences of the year for me, and there's some things so I don't want to say about immaculate, but there's something incredible about a long take, the precision involved, what you have to do. And of course, it always depends on the subject of the scene. Is it an action scene? Is it movement? Or is it just people talking? And a cooking film where there are things, I'm assuming, being cooked in the film, and there's a process and the room for error, which means you have to restart again, is almost second to none. And I think to be able to direct that is something extraordinary, and that's what I wanted to see. That does all that stuff come across well in the film?
Yeah, they don't really focus on the food too much. Like I will say that there's only a couple of scenes where you see someone actually cooking and you see some presentation being done and stuff like that. It's more about the interactions between the various different kind of people that they come across during the night, and the various different interactions with themselves, the arguments that break down in the kitchen, just the chaos that is anything that can happen in a kitchen night, and a lot happens in this kitchen night. And yeah, it's complete chaos. And what I really like about the directing is, I mean, you've seen films which are made to look like they're one take, like 1917 a few years ago. There's maybe like one obvious cut in there where they just cut to black and then they open up the eyes again and there's a different time jump. Whereas with this film, it is just, you can see the camera's shaking the entire time. It's handheld, it's there, it's moving around the kitchen and stuff like that. There's no kind of crossing shots or anything like that. It is one take. It is all done in one take, and it is so well done. Like it's an amazing feat of filmmaking just to start off with, and it seems to be receiving already very, very good kind of reviews from people who have seen it. I think it's at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's on a 7.7 on IMDb, but I think that will go way up as the film gets a little bit more traction, seen by more people. But the filmmaking itself, directed by Philip Barantini, who made the short film first back in 2019, and then made this kind of longer version of this film now. I think you said he was an actor before we went live. So it's fantastic for an actor to kind of have that vision, to be able to go, this is what I want from the film. I want it to be one take. I want it to be in a kitchen. I want it to be intense. And to be able to get these actors on board as well. You've got, obviously, I completely forgot his name.
Stephen Graham.
Stephen Graham. You've got Vinette Robinson as well, who's been in Sherlock, Black Mirror, loads of other BBC kind of dramas. You've got Malachi Kirby as well, who's also in Black Mirror. Hannah Walters, who's been in a lot of British TV and stuff like that. Really, really good up and coming actors. And then you've also got Jason Fleming, who comes in as this kind of pseudo villain who comes in throughout part of the film, who was the previous head chef at a restaurant that Stephen Graham's character was at, and is coming back and has brought basically a critic along with him as his date. So it's kind of a small jab at him for having his own restaurant and stuff like that. It's so well made. It's so well done. And you don't just focus on the main character. You go to the various different parts of the kitchen, the various different people. There are small moments of kind of character building that are immediately they kind of go, oh, and then they just kind of brush it off and move it on to the next thing because the night is still going on. It's just what would happen in a kitchen at this kind of high level restaurant at night. And it's just so well done.
Definitely. I want to kind of ask you, you spoke briefly about the cast as well. Obviously, Stephen Graham is to me one of the best British actors working today, and I think I think everyone in England knows how good he is, and I think everyone's seen him pop up in enough things by now. I think he's slowly getting bigger in America, and I kind of wondered with this film, is this one of his, I don't say better ones, but because he's now starting to become this household name, I think he might be one of the reasons this one may have got the funding that he was coming back. But you know, he's spoken to me saying that he loves Gordon Ramsay shows and he was watching all of that beforehand. Is it something he's influenced by with this performance?
Yes. There's a lot of swearing in this film. There's a lot of kind of moments of just angry outbursts followed by quite calm kind of reconsideration and stuff like that. You can tell that he's watched a lot of kind of cooking shows because he's got that presence of a chef in a kitchen, someone who kind of brushes off just the kind of like general, oh, you don't really know what you're talking about, so I'm not even going to bother to even acknowledge your existence, to the kind of harsh direction towards the other people. Like someone makes a small mistake in the kitchen, it's his kitchen, and therefore he takes it personally. He goes full on kind of Gordon Ramsay mode. It's just a brilliant performance by him. I hope it gets more recognition than it possibly will. The fact that it wasn't given kind of a film festival actual in-person kind of screening, like a proper press screening and stuff like that, I hope that it just doesn't go as like one of those which is just online and not many people will see it in the end, because it's a brilliant film. It really is. I would highly recommend it to anyone when it comes out, wherever it comes out, to be able to go and view it.
Yeah, and that's one of the big talking points, kind of following that as well. That with the festival, so many films, distribution rights for sale and whatnot. It was just so odd to see this one again. It got a premiere at the Odeon. It was a busy one. People were there, cast were there, VIPs were there as well. And I'm very intrigued to find out if they've got a seller and what's going to happen, because the review that's going to come next, Mass, that's been sold to Sky, and they've promised it a cinema release. But also at the same time, I mean, I know Promising Young Woman went to Sky, but it's one of those where these places need to find homes. People need to be able to go out and see it at the cinema. And that's something like the three of us have advocated all year long, is that cinema experience. And maybe this would work better in a restaurant on a projector, who knows? But it's one of them where it would be a shame if you get such an interesting content like this that just can't get the follow-up it deserves. I think that's why I'm sort of drawn to the fact you miss a screening and you need to find other ways to be able to see it. I'm really hopeful and kind of jumping in with that, asking for your thoughts with all that too at the end.
If there's any kind of streaming service or anything like that I could see picking this up, it'd probably be an Amazon Prime kind of type. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Netflix tends to go for kind of the big bombastic films. They don't really go for the quiet kind of indie dramas and stuff like that. And it's got a lot of British actors. And I know that Amazon has done that before with kind of British kind of films and media and stuff like that. It seems like it would work better on that platform. They'd advertise it quite well and stuff like that. I don't really see it being sold to Sky. It's not one of those kind of films to be sold off to Sky and stuff like that, which is quite interesting. But it'll be interesting to see where it ends up. Or what kind of distribution rights and stuff like that. But I mean, the problem is, we were talking about this with one of the films that was from the film festival in 2019, with Rare Beasts, a film that we saw, and it only just got released. So it could be it could be a very long time before we actually see any kind of distribution company pick it up, which is a shame. But I'm glad I was able to see it, and I am very much looking forward to watching it on a second time round, because it definitely will be watched again.
Absolutely. As I said, I'm still very jealous you got to see it, because it was one of the ones I really wanted to watch. And just the timings have been. I mean, I'm not going to go into people's complaints with timings of the festival, but some days have been stacked and some days haven't, and I think that's the question a lot of people have spoken about. But that being said, that's the review on Boiling Point. I might actually seek out the short film here that's available to watch online. I'm very curious now, but what we want to do, we want to hear from you guys. If you have seen it at the festival, if you've seen it online, do comment your thoughts on the film below. Was it worth apologies, was it worth the wait? Was it one of the more interesting films? And there's Stephen Graham fans everywhere. Is it one of his better ones? So comment below, hit the subscribe button. And as we said, we've got a lot more content coming from the London Film Festival. It finishes this Sunday the 17th, but we will still be around doing videos. We've got a lot of stuff to catch up with, a lot of things to edit, more films to get reviews out, including Power of the Dog, French Dispatch. There'll be a Macbeth one at some point as well. There's so many more films that have been seen that we need to get reviews out for. So it's going to be quite exciting. But next up on the channel is going to be Mass. Again, keep an eye on our social medias for when we do get that. Twitter at cinema_savvy, facebook.com/cinemasavvy, letterboxd.com/cinemasavvy. And we aren't just covering the film festival. We have a delightful double bill this Friday of The Last Duel and Venom. Not on the channel this Friday, but they're at the cinema. So we do have some new, I guess you could say, bigger releases to come. As you said, cinemas are opening. It's starting to get stacked now, all the release dates. The end of October and December are absolutely heaving. November's a little bit quieter, but we've obviously been covering James Bond for a long time, and that journey doesn't come to an end. But we put a lovely cap on our retrospective next Tuesday, the 19th of October. This is our big ranking video. Almost everybody that's been on the channel in the last 6 months that's jumped on our reviews been very kind enough to send in the top 10 videos. So that has all been amalgamated together to create a definitive Bond top 10, a bit like what we did with Marvel. Check that out next Tuesday. That's going to be a really fun one. It's just going to be amazing to see what everyone thinks as the months have gone by and their thoughts on the franchise. So do join us for that. And once again, I want to thank everybody at home for watching. Tate, thank you for being able to check this one out. And we shall be sure to see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.